YouTubers are spending tons of money to make their logo look good. But what if we do the exact opposite of this?
With no money, of course.
Starting with the PewDiePie's logo. Why this? Well, he has changed his logo multiple times in his journey, and this will be my contribution for the another change. Usually I start with a rough sketch, but this time I have a clear cut idea. So first thing that I'll do is chop off his head, a little portion. This edge has to be pixelated just like Japanese. Little changes and yeah, it is happening now. Now I'm gonna give him a mind because it is unfair to keep it without that. I mean, he had been on the top since quite a while, so there should be a mind behind it. But for that I need a reference. Let's decrease the opacity so that I can start tracing the shape like that. One more line here and here, just like that. Let's fill it with color, something like that. And I have to make sure that these corners are pointy so that it will look good. But I'm making things worse. Anyway, let's make it good but worse at the same time. What is this happening? You know what, let's start from beginning. So I'm making things worse, but now I'm making it good. But I need to make things worse, but it should be look good. Alright, shadows to give it a 3D look. I'll refine it later, see, like that, and the highlight of course with a brighter color. Now I'm gonna melt his mind so that I can see the tactics he used for his channel, and then I can be as big as he is, like from here and maybe from here as well. Little changes to give it some variation, few touching shadows, and voila. I mean, look at this. It's not complete yet. Now let's make it even worse. Holes in the brain from which little worms show up, more like a brain eater. See, the worm like these. Let's make some line to make it good. Good? Okay. You know what? Let's start from beginning. So I'm making...
Haha, just kidding, guys.
I'm not gonna do the same thing again and again. Now the flies that are coming for this melted brain. I mean, I'm not the only one who wants this. Now one more thing. See this portal? I know it's not a portal, but let's just pretend. From this, a big worm will come out, like this much big. I mean, it's just my imagination. So you can build up your own story, something like this. Let's flip it because it is covering most of the brain cells. I mean the part of brain. Let's trace the shape with the pen tool so that we'll get a smooth edges. Now let me just find something for his head cause I'm not in a mood to draw it. Let's see where I can fit it. Probably right here. Little tweaks to make it a part of this body and the color. Let me just remove this watermark before anyone notices. A black stroke around the edges to blend it with the head. Now look at that. What if I change the color of the worm? Cause it is looking kind of weird now. Now what? More flash because this face is too much for the current numbers. Touching shadow of this big worm. Saliva that is coming out of his mouth. Wanna learn how you can add this thing in your art? Check out this video. I provided the link in the description and the timestamp for this one. Or you can watch the whole video. I'm sure you will love that. And these creepy eye lenses. Now it is looking like he has done something. Maybe I can add some blood and the color of this worm. And finally, here we have our first design done. You know what? Let's send it to the PewDiePie and see what will be his reaction if I'm lucky enough to get the reply. In the meantime, bring out the second one. Just like the previous one, I have an idea for this one too. That goes like, first I open his mouth and he'll have a big tongue. That will go straight into his one eye and comes out from his mouth. I'll cut this part to show you what's inside that and so on. Or maybe instead of mouth, what if the tongue is coming out of his another eye? We'll see that. Let's cut this portion as I said, or maybe from here as well to balance it. And we all know what should be inside this. Wanna guess? Yes, a rib cage. And this should be visible from this side too. I think I should erase these bones which is coming from behind because later I'll fill a solid black color between these which will cover them anyway. And of course these are broken bone. Why? Maybe I want it to. And a black solid color. Now his soul is dark as hell, just like mine. I think it will look good if I make this cloth like this. I mean like a torn fabric and this black border. It is mandatory to add so that the whole new appearance can blend with the original logo, I guess. Few ambient shadow on the bones. Now what? Let's work on his mouth. First I have to hide the original one like that. Now his big open mouth. I mean his tongue will be big as hell, so it should be big as well. What? Wait a minute. Is that? It's like a poem. Now time has come to draw his big evil tongue, something like this. Shadows to give it some extra dimension and a real shape. When his tongue is in the place of his eyes, that means eyeballs should be out of their place. These white dots to give it some kind of texture, and the saliva of course. And I forgot to add some blood that is coming out of his eye socket, and the reason for that is his tongue. So here it is. And these bones are inside of his body, so I have to add a little red tint because of the blood, few more to show that these parts has some wound. And when eye is out of the eye socket, how can I forget about this flash that is attached on the eye? And to show the reason behind all this evil thing that is happening right now, I added this thing, his mind. And after little tweaks, this is our reveal version of Dreams logo. Now the last one for today's video is from MrBeast. So we have a beast here and lot of other elements too. First, let's just put this thing on transparent mode. Yep, that's better. And I know this time as well what I'm gonna do to this one. So first, let's remove this lightning bolt. What? I mean, without the lightning bolt, it is not looking brutal. Now his tongue and the teeth. His eye. Yeah, let's remove this one too. Now we are left with this one. Now I can add everything back in my own way, starting with his tongue, a big one. Let's just put the original one aside so that we can see the difference. See, it's been a sec and I can see my mistake here. That is the color of his tongue. Now his teeth that are not at their original spot. Maybe one is. And of course they are not just floating in the air. They are hanging with this flesh. Something like that. Let's do something with his ear as well. Maybe I can just make it like a dog's ear, big and friendly. And yeah, I'm allowed to do this. I made the other one too with the same process. Now it's not a beast anymore. And then position the lightning bolt like it is directly going through his head. Then I thought one broken teeth is not enough, so I did the another one in the lower jaw. Now his eye. For this one, check this out. I found this eye which will perfectly fit here because I already removed his original eye, so I have to add it outside of the eye socket. See, that's what I was talking about. I wasn't sure about the lightning bolt, so I made some more changes in it. Then I added a stroke on every element that I have made here to balance everything out. Using Liquify, I also made some changes in the upper jaw to make it funny, not brutal. I mean, in the original logo, it is something that you don't want to see in real life. Shadows to give it some extra dimension because it is looking kind of flat now. And after spending tedious amount of time, I finally give a spot to this lightning bolt. And when this lightning bolt is going through his head, that means, yeah, blood should be there coming out of that wound. Okay, I just got a weird idea. Maybe I can add a nose ring for his nose. Now what? He's a bull now. More blood on the other side of the bolt, the lightning bolt. And this jewelry should be made out of gold because it is MrBeast logo, of course. And this thing that is coming out of his nose, I don't know what should I call this. Now it is looking disgusting. Then I cut this part. Why? I don't know, but I do know how to add saliva in my arts. Check out this video if you wanna know. And then I cut this part too, just to make sure this has lot of wounds. And yeah, it's done. I made few more tweaks, like I added this same brain that I used for my previous design, and these broken neck bones, few highlights here and there, and here we have a last design. Now it's your turn to tell me what do you guys think about all these designs, which one you like most. And I know what you're thinking. Yeah, I didn't get the reply, but we can wait, and I'm out.